Today is Tuesday, October 10th, 2023. It's coming up to 9 a.m. PST. And I wanted to talk about really this an initiation range, a sell initiation range, a nice pull down. And I wanted to talk about why we don't take continuation sells here, why we didn't sell here, why we didn't sell here, etc., etc. Because this is an initiation range. And if you've been hearing me anytime recently, you will know that I am all about looking for initiation ranges to push price down into a direction. However, they do this kind of stuff over here as well to instigate selling activity. So they create these sort of patterns, or they don't create them. Well, they do create them. Okay, they create these patterns. They do these patterns. They do these formations. You call them really whatever the heck you want, but basically it's algorithmic and it's over and over and over again. Happens on all time frames. But they create this lower time frame initiation range for induction of selling. Yes, they use this range to move price down to this point, but they also created this as a setup for you to go short because they want to induce your selling. So right here, they're trying to induce sellers. Look how they pull the market down, give you a nice little run, no break of structure, take your stops, right? So there, it's an induction into a liquidity draw. So while this will occur in the correct place at the correct time, and it will initiate lower prices, this is the exact same formation, exact same pattern, exact same everything that you will see that will encourage lower prices or move the market down into lower levels. But they do it here, the same thing, to induce that selling. And the way to protect yourself is to watch what goes on over here and also to watch your buy side. What are we mitigating, you know? And so that's really interesting. That's really what I wanted to talk about today. So let's start out nice and basic. Let's just go to our higher time frame. I'll keep this video as short as I can. Just wanted to explain how to sort of protect ourselves in the marketplace a little bit. Okay. So as you can see, we're rolling down lower prices, lower prices, lower prices, and we're looking for a reason to continue these lower prices. If we're not going to continue lower prices, then we might be going long, which is fine, but we need to take out some sort of structure first to give us sort of an inclination that we're going long, right? Or a reason that we're going long. So here was the best, most recent sell block, right? So we've got one there, you got a mini one in here as well. And these sell blocks, sell primaries, held price. We have seen them go through as they come up, boop, having a mitigation, boop, have another mitigation, boop, have another mitigation, and we get reactions. We keep getting these reactions, but no follow through, no actual break of structure. So as I see price do this right here, this mitigation here, I'm still considering that sells are the likeliest play, and I should be selling. And so we find sell opportunities and whatnot and get into the marketplace, okay? So there's why that happens. Now, until we get this break of structure down here and ultimately down here, I've got this green box drawn. This green box here represents to me that the order block has not been completely mitigated and that we can accept a further mitigation until we get a break of structure. That's how I interpret that, okay? So I have my green box drawn. Yes, we had a lovely mitigation. Yes, we're pulling down. No, it did not hold. Price comes up, zips up over here, boop, and then has a nice little pullback. So that's all looking sweet, hunky, and dory, right? We're real happy about that, and we're looking for shorts. Then we get our mitigation at the top, give us an initiation range, and we're thinking, holy crap, we found it. We've unlocked the codes to the trading gods, and we know what we're doing. And now we're pulling down into shorts. We've got an initiation, so we just need to see how we can get continuation of this, right? And so that's what my first thought was when I come to the chart this morning. And so I get this all drawn on and all nice, and I had a bunch of other drawings not too long ago because I was looking at this as being a really good mitigation. And so yes, it was a really good mitigation, but I was looking for my safe entry, and it just never gave it to us. And I want to talk about why and how we can sort of stay out and stay protected. Okay. Now the first thing is to jump to the buy side. So here's my buy side drawings, 1 minute chart again, and you see how the buy side drawings are pretty damn strong. Higher time frame, lower time frame mitigation. You know, if you want to look sort of left, you can see it. You know, boop, and there's the higher time frames over here. Okay, so high time frame, lower time frame. Again, higher time frame, lower time frame. Looked at what it mitigated. There's a tiny little one in there. Boom, perfect mitigation. Again, as they build price. Again, as they move price. Again, as they keep working price up. And so I'm seeing this going, shit, these are strong buy prices. This is strong buying activity. Yeah, it will become cause at some point, but we don't know when, do not really care when. So what am I thinking here? I've got what looks to be quite strong activity on the sell side and strong activity on the buy side. What do? Sit on my hands is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to wait and watch and with caution, because I don't understand fully what's going on here. Why are we getting such strong buy side mitigations? And why are we getting good, decent mitigation here on the lower time frame with an initiation range? I'm sorry, but that's pretty cool. We could talk about this too. This was a late thing that happened last night, so maybe once we're done here, we'll talk about this as well. So anyway, initiation range pulls down, right, and we're watching the pull back up, right, and this is how we can protect ourselves from getting into the market. What am I looking for? First of all, I'm looking for transitional order blocks to be taken before the mitigation, right? So here was the last known block that was it was a primary. Not that that matters in this instance because of the way we're talking about it, because it was just a buy block that got taken out, right? Meaning price formed here, initiated here, mitigated, and then went through this block. Okay, this block then becomes transitional, and so what do? We expect price to come back into it to mitigate and continue lower prices, right? So that's how I'm interpreting things and what I'm waiting for. So as soon as I see price getting up into sort of that area up here, I'm very, very interested. So I'm looking at things like this, and I'm drawing it out, and I'm going, okay, so that's a higher time frame and a lower time frame mitigation. So how can I get in? How can I get involved? Right. Same with this one here. Okay. The way in which you can protect yourself is by waiting for the correct, and this is very important, the correct order block to get taken. Okay. And so what do I mean? This is the buy primary right here. Once this buy primary was taken, right, it turned into a transitional order block. It can do it with a regular range too. It does not have to be a primary range. However, if a primary range forms, right, we've got much heavier. It's a heavier weighted thing to occur that changes it into a transitional. So when a primary range becomes transitional or becomes a breaker, that is a big tell sign, because it's like we created a primary range, a range that we were expecting to hold, right? And yet that's what got taken. So basically, it's a bit like you're handing off your buys to become sellers, right? Or sellers to become buyers, whichever way around it is. But it's a handoff. It's a changing of the guards, so to speak. So as we get like these kinds of mitigations, and we pull back into them, right? So how can we sort of stop ourselves from getting into the wrong side sorts of trades? Well, the first thing is you can draw on your order blocks as like this, right? So you pull your high, your from your high, you pull it to the lowest point that the range made. So in this instance, this would be a buy order block, because it made a new high here and pulled down to this low point. So there's our order block, right? That's the last known order block that occurred on this whole move up. And you might be saying, well, Gary, I can see this is an order block here from this high down to this low, and then it took the high. And I'm going to tell you why it's not. Okay, and this is really freaking important. This is how we're protecting ourselves in the market. Okay, so I hope pay attention. I'm going to do my absolute best to do this as clear as possible. Okay, so as we move up in price and we make these pullbacks, a pullback for me is only a pullback if it takes out the low of the candle that made the high, right? So here we are here. I'm just going to draw it in. This candle here, this is the one I'm looking at, this blue one, sorry. Where's the low of that candle? Right here, isn't it? In fact, I'll put, we'll make it look like that, boss. Break a structure, right? So this candle high is here, the candle low is down here. Did any of this pullback break that candle low? No, it did not. When we were, let's say we're looking at this candle here, and we've had this one right here. Oh, let me do arrow again. When it had, did it break the low? No. So is this an order block? It is on a lower time frame. That would look like that on a lower time frame. This would look like this on a lower time frame, but I'm on just a 1 minute chart. How low do you want to go, right? And so I always think to myself, a 1 minute is a really decent mitigation. If they can take out a 1 minute buy block, that's a decent mitigation. So we haven't taken out these lows. So let's draw these little lows in again. Got a low here. Or we think that was a low, right? We've got another low here. This one looks like another low that could have formed. But again, all of these did not take out the candle that made the high. It didn't take out that candle's low. So this candle made the high. Here's the low of it. Where did it come to? It didn't come to it. It didn't penetrate there. And the same on this one. This one's like an internal. Let me draw it. This one right here. This one right here isn't like an internal because this was the high. This is where we're working. This is what we're working with. So now this candle here made the new high. So this candle low is now the playable low. This candle here made a high, and so this candle low is the new one. So here we go, right? So we've got a candle high has been made, and now it's made a pullback because it broke here. Okay. So what that means is it looks kind of like this. At this point, right? It's just having a pullback, its first pullback. But something you got to appreciate. Shit, I should always turn my fucking notifications off. I'm tired of that. But what you got to appreciate is we've got this big blue block back here, and this is the one that is going to hold because this is the last known range that did this. Here's the high of that candle, here's the low of that candle, and it went all the way down to here, right? That is the reason why. All right, that is the reason why all of these little pullbacks aren't actual true pullbacks. They're just continuation price, and it's not, and it should be just sort of seen as a straight line. I wouldn't even put like a little pullback in that line drawing because it's not. You know, this is a pullback. This is just a straight line. I guess that's the best way I could say it. So that's how we can protect ourselves from this trade, right? So. This is where it's going to get interesting though. So now we've got this new high that's formed. It created a new high, right? This is now the new buy primary. Sorry, not buy primary. Buy range right here. They went above it, so this is a valid one. So we wait for it to break here, and so now we're set. Okay, now we're like, okay, now we're trading. All right, transitional. It's come down to here. We started here, come down. Let's look between A, let's look between B. What the hell happened? And see if we can find a primary range in there to trade off of, right? And we could, you know, let's have a look at it. Let's just do it together. Okay, so the primary range on this one would be down here. Actually, the first, no. Are you understanding why the primary range starts from this low, though? That's another good thing to talk about. Why doesn't it start from this low? Well, the same reason. It can't. It can't. It didn't take out the low of the candle. This is just a straight line. Remember, draw this as a straight line. Like that. Right? There's no pullback. And so it's for that reason, this is the low of that candle. So if this is going to become the buy primary, right, we've got to wait for it to get put in, meaning we've got to wait for a break of structure down here, and we don't get it. So we're protecting ourselves again, right? Just by watching what's happening and understanding primary ranges and how they're formed. This candle here went below the low of this high candle here, so that's why this is a starting point for the primary range. And to form a primary range, it has to break the low of it. It's simple. Okay. So that's the reason we wouldn't have taken anything from this first high or this second high. We then get this third high. Let's talk about this third high. We've got a range here, a buy range here. We're waiting for this to become transitional. It doesn't become transitional, this is not valid, right? So here we go. We've got another high here. Does it tick all the boxes? Is it the higher time frame, lower time frame? And in this instance, I don't think it did. Yeah, it went over the top of these ranges. So now we've broken structure and we've actually making new highs. So now we need to analyze what did you mitigate? Did you mitigate anything? Blah 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 blah. Right? It pushes through our little green range here, which we actually thought we had, room for another mitigation. If we would have had a mitigation here and then a pull down, we would have been looking at a continuation sell, short sell there. And that's really it then on this video. I really want to talk about that, how you can protect yourself, why I didn't take any short trades going short here, even though there was an initiation, which I was super, uber interested in, thought it was absolutely awesome. Was excited to see it, and then, but to see, what happened afterwards, how I was able to protect myself from not getting in because it just didn't make sense. The sense wasn't being made. Whereas on the buy side of things, it was actually making a lot of sense. Hindsight, wish I'd have taken this trade here at 750. Wish I'd seen that mitigation and taken it. By that time, I was doing other stuff, wife's leaving for work, got puppy running around, that kind of stuff, right? So it was a distraction moment, which is an unfortunate thing. But now my wife's at work, now the puppy's settled down, I might be able to find a trade. Let's talk about this then. Last thing I want to talk about, I'll keep it as quick as I can. This was last night. Where are we? So we've had all this sort of, this is like that sort of elephant hour, I call it, a graveyard shift sort of thing, where it's just fuzz, isn't it? It's just white noise. It's just the, 2, 3 p.m. PST. That's really what it is for me. And it's just really like this kind of crappy stuff. And so Asia, is it Asia? Yeah, Asia takes over, or Tokyo. Oh, gosh, I can't even remember my time zone here, but it was late for me. It's like 5-6 p.m. And I had an opportunity where it was quiet and I could sit down and just look at the charts. And really, what I was doing is just flexing. I was trying to flex my muscles. Not trying to flex. Like in the way that I'm trying to show off or anything like that. I'm flexing my skill to myself is really what I was trying to do. And so here we've got a higher time frame, lower time frame primary. What do? Get higher time frame, lower time frame primary mitigation, and I see price just work its way down, right? And so on the buy side of things, I'm seeing this happen. And let's get rid of this drawing here. And I put this on here because I was watching the higher time frame, lower time frame mitigations on the buy side as well. But on the chart, I had already previously drawn in this. And it was like, what did they mitigate? High time frame, yes, but no lower time frame. So it was a weird mitigation. It didn't make sense. It was equal lows as well. And so I stacked it. I put, that's cause, that's money. I could see it was cause. But then after that, we started doing higher time frame, lower time frame, higher time frame, lower time frame. So it kind of made sense that, hey, we might not be ready to run it just yet. And it was like I saw a higher time frame, lower time frame mitigation right here. Caught an entry, could have caught an entry. Well, I did catch it live, but I didn't place an order on this because I was saying to myself, and I wrote this on the chart: sells look strong. I'm not taking it. If the sells are looking strong, as equally as strong as the buys, why take it? And it was really in that moment when I wrote that, and I had to write it down to really get this. I remembered that I drew this on, 20 minutes prior. And I was like, oh, on my buy side drawings, I've got a cause stack, right? Whereas on my sell side drawings at that time, we had already taken out all this question mark stuff, or not all of it, but a lot of it, right? All of this sort of weird shit here had been taken out already, and we're mitigating up here. And so it's kind of like, well, let's see, what's going on. And it just looked so strong. And this was where the strength was coming in because they were just decent mitigations. And so I was able to find a real quick entry. Higher higher time frame, lower time frame. Looks like we've got a lower time frame, a higher time frame here, and another lower time frame inside. And oh yeah, I'm remembering this now. This was absolutely freaking awesome. Let's put this back here because this was beautiful in the moment. I was nervous about it. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous about it. So we had this mitigation. If I can click it, there. So we had this mitigation here, which ticked the boxes, right? Because I was in a higher time frame here, and I had a lower time frame here. So I see this mitigation, and I was like, "Ooh, tasty, nice." And it got down to this point here, and I was thinking to myself, "Well, we haven't broken structure," so immediately I draw my green arrow on my green box, big pardon, and I see price sort of wanting to come back up, and I was thinking to myself, "Shit, this is an absolute valid mitigation. It's taken a range, right? Here was the range that it took. Here was that buy range. It actually took the buy range, right? So it's ticking all the boxes. And so I should be selling here, realistically. And so I'm just waiting for my opportunity from this from this A down to this B. I'm looking at what happened. I'm looking for primary ranges, and I'm like, okay, boom. If we can get a primary mitigation, I'm in. We're going to be sweet sailing. I didn't get that, but I did get this. And this was like I said, the transitional order block. This is perfect. We're talking about this, you guys, today. This is perfect because this just rolls in beautifully with what I was just saying. This was a valid entry. Valid, right? Boom. Valid. It took out the low of this candle. If this was a 1 minute, this would have been the low. It was just a beautiful buy range that turned into a transitional range. And so it's ticked all the boxes. We should be entering the market, but where? And so I couldn't see from this A to this B a really decent entry level. Maybe this was the primary range. It was sort of iffy, but price didn't halt there, and it didn't break out. It didn't mitigate and break lower prices from there. It kept on continuing through. And so immediately when I saw this other high, I went, "Oh, we're stacking highs. This is likely to get played. This green box here. I've already got a go sign, right? This is a big tick, by the way. I'm trying to draw a big tick, like meaning yes, go green, everything's good." And so I was thinking, well, if it's not going to be, this isn't going to be the high, which it doesn't look like it's going to be, because even though everything's ticked all the boxes, we've gone through it, right? And so I was thinking to myself, well, then it must be that we're stacking, and the only other opportunity I've got to do is play the green area, the unmitigated area, and that's exactly what I did. So I placed a limit order right here, got tagged in here, zipped real high up, 1.5 pip stop, right? Look, 1.5 pip stop. I was like, because it was Asia, it was really neat. You know, I could get a lower entry. Price doesn't move as rapidly at that hour. And sure enough, it wasn't long before this connected. And so this was a little cherry on top last night. Got my 10R. I missed a 10R early in the day, so it was nice to get this one. And sure enough, it pushed lower. And if we look on the buy side, where did it go to? I had my cause all pointed out here. And where did it go to? Right down here. So it went below the cause, which is exactly what I was expecting. And I didn't know if we were going to go higher prices or not from there, but it was nice to see that that is where they decided to mitigate. And if you look at it, this is a beefy mitigation. Here's our higher time frame. Here's our lower time frame. What did we mitigate? Boom. High time frame and lower time frame. So a beautiful mitigation, beautiful understanding again of what was sort of going on in the market, and a really nice little entry. I mean, I didn't know for sure that was going to go down there. You never know anything for sure, but I knew that I could get in, and it was likely that this was the time to run the cause, since we were mitigating following along with mitigations. It was kind of like, you know, the protocol had been activated from here, and it was just like, hey, we're pushing prices lower. That was the way I understood it anyway. All right, don't want to go too long on this video. Don't want to do too much more. That's it for today. Peace out, love. Hope everyone's doing awesome, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right, peace out, bye-bye.